Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted best of Pahrump for 4 years. Give them a call, 775-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New, service, and repair. Call Gunny's, 775-727-6800.
Welcome to this edition of News 25. I'm Unat Gentry. It's Thursday, May the 4th. Be with you. Well, in our continuing coverage of our top story, we are detailing reports of the ongoing Cathedral Canyon murder trial. Heather Pate goes into more detail about what led up to the murder and her relationship with Roy Jaggers, and a second witness was in court to testify that he interacted with Roy the day of the murder. Our reporter RJ has that story.
Yesterday, the trial continued with Heather Pate back on the stand for attorney Tom Gibson's cross-examination regarding what led up to the murder of Roy Jaggers Brad Main was allegedly involved in. The two other suspects, Kevin Dent and Heather Pate, already pleaded guilty. During the cross-examination, Heather was asked about what occurred on July 30th of 2021. Heather goes on to state that she and Dent were playing pool at a bar until approximately 5 a.m. She also stated how she and Roy were friends and that Roy had watched the kids several times before. Pate continued stating she and Dent had checked her security cam footage because Jaggers' message asking for her melatonin sent her red flags. In the security footage, Roy was allegedly walking in the living room in his underwear, punching the air while holding a knife, and seemed anxious. Her 4-year-old son was allegedly present on the couch, screaming, "I'm never going to sleep in my entire life," to which Roy responded allegedly shouting to shut up or I'll call your mom. She reiterated discovering her son's privates were bruised and how her son told her.
I mean, how would a mother feel when their son tells you that he's been hurt by someone that you trusted? It's beyond words. She
and Kevin interrogated Roy at her place around 9 p.m. However, she also stated that Roy allegedly admitted to touching her son.
He said I tugged on his
The prosecution team makes a retort to these claims.
But I don't want this to turn into an attempt to prosecute Mr. Jaggers for some crime and thereby turn into a nullification argument that it's okay to kill child molesters.
Then continued to reiterate allegedly meeting Brad and Pahrump with Kevin while Roy was handcuffed in the back seat. After Heather's cross-examination finished, another witness took to the stand to testify, Norman Mullet, who worked for Brad Main in the past. Norman began testifying about an alleged call he received from Brad Main on the day of the murder, stating that Main allegedly stated that, "I think I screwed up. I think I took it too far." Norman continued stating Brad allegedly said, "We found a chomo and tried to teach him a lesson but took it too far, and he was in trouble." Chomo being a slang term that means child molester. Norman went on to state that Brad allegedly said Roy was still alive and that they drove out to Cathedral Canyon, allegedly picking up another person later identified as Kevin Dent. When they arrived at Cathedral Canyon, Mullet stated that Main and Dent allegedly ran down the canyon. Mullet stood at the cliff overlooking the two and allegedly saw them standing over Roy's dead, naked body. Norman stated he started yelling at them, mad that they brought him along. That's when Mullet says he heard someone call the police due to allegedly seeing Brad and Kevin over the body. Norman then continues stating that Dent and Main allegedly ran back, got into the truck with Mullet, and drove off. Dent was dropped off, Mullet stating that he got in Heather Pate's car.
That's when the cops were coming. There was 2 trucks and 2 cars. I looked at Brad and I said, "You're done, dude, just pull over."
When Mullet and Main arrived back at Main's house, Main allegedly placed 2 trash bags and a large box in Mullet's truck. Then Mullet left. When he got home, Mullet stated that he opened the box and then immediately shut it after allegedly seeing it filled with weapons. Cops later visited Mullet and acquired both the trash bags and the box. Stay tuned to see Kevin Dent's testimony, who took a plea deal alongside Heather Pate regarding the murder of Roy Jaggers.
We continue coverage of that story now with reports about Kevin Dent. The second of the two who took a plea deal stood in court Wednesday to testify regarding the murder of Roy Jaggers.
Yesterday, Kevin Dent, who took a plea deal alongside his girlfriend Heather Pate regarding the murder of Roy Jaggers, stood at the witness stand to testify. Kevin Dent begins with testifying that after he and Pate got home from playing pool at a bar, they reviewed their security footage as they had suspicions that Roy Jaggers allegedly molested Pate's 4-year-old son. After calling Roy over so he and Pate could interrogate him, Dent recalls Pate striking Jaggers multiple times in the head with her fists after Roy gave an answer she didn't like. While being struck, Roy allegedly got up, and that's when Dent moved from the kitchen and struck Roy himself multiple times in the face with his fists. They then leave for Pahrump after restraining Roy.
The intention was to meet Brad. Brad was supposed to secure a location that was deserted, and he was to be dropped off there to find his way back to Vegas or wherever he chose.
After Pate and Dent allegedly meet up with Maine at the shooting range, Maine allegedly confronted a restrained Jaggers.
Brad had asked him why he had done what he had done, by the accusation of touching Heather's child. And then he made it a point to say that this was his girl, his boys. And Roy just said, he apologized, he was sorry, he didn't mean to do it. He said, well, this is what happens to chomos. And out here, God, do you understand me? And when he said, do you understand me? He knelt down to Roy and said, do you understand me? Boy. And Roy sarcastically answered him back, yes, God.
According to Dent's testimony, Maine allegedly shot around Roy's head with a gun after Roy's response. Then Maine allegedly struck Roy with his belt until the buckle broke off, then proceeded to bring out various tools to allegedly hurt Roy, including, as Dent describes, an axe-hammer combo that he allegedly used to strike Jaggers 3 times with the blunt side, a bayonet, Maine allegedly used on Jaggers' anal cavity, a stapler, and finally a blowtorch allegedly used on Roy's back and shoulders. Upon going to Cathedral Canyon afterwards, Brad allegedly kicked Roy off the cliff after having Heather strip him, and allegedly shot at Roy 3 times, the last shot hitting Roy. Heather, Kevin, and Brad allegedly ran back to their cars to leave after Dent hears someone call for the police. During Tom Gibson's cross-examination, Dent admitted that he and Pate used methamphetamines days prior to the incident, and stated that the night they played pool, they were on cocaine. When Heather allegedly called Brad, Dent believed she was calling the police. Dent says he was reluctant to intervene with Brad's alleged shooting due to Maine's gun.
But you do acknowledge that you made mistakes, Daddy.
I do.
And is that why you pled guilty to murder 2nd degree?
Sir.
Stay tuned for this developing story tomorrow.
This week's court proceedings have formally concluded, but we will have more testimony for you tomorrow on our News 25 broadcast. So be sure to tune in and don't grab that remote. We'll be right back after this break.
You want your life savings and assets safe from the creditors and government after your death? Do you want to save time and confusion to your loved ones for the process of estate planning? Is it important to you to create a plan to provide security for you and your family? Will protect your assets from the creditors. Don't wait. Call David M. Grant, attorney at law, for all your estate planning needs. Call today, 702-938-2244 for a free 30-minute consultation.
Home delivered meals, prescription assistance, utility assistance, disability services. Find resources for seniors in your community. Free and confidential help is here 24/7. Download the app. Text your zip code to 898-211. Call 211. Visit nevada211.org or chat with a specialist on our website. Get connected. Get help.
I'm Joe Adams. I'm a pharmacist that knows the pain of losing their child to an opiate overdose. If you think it can't happen to your family, think again. To learn more, visit the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy at nabp.pharmacy.
Stuck on the railroad crossing? Get out of your vehicle. For help, call the number on the blue and white emergency notification system sign at the crossing. Give them the crossing number to alert train traffic. Remember, find the blue and white to save your life.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, in other area news, sheriff deputies arrest a man after discovering a controlled substance and that he was in possession of a stolen vehicle that he was driving. David Preston has that story.
Nye County Sheriff's Office responded to a welfare check here in Pahrump on May 1st of this year. Upon their arrival, the reporting party advised deputies that there was a male passed out inside the driver's seat of a vehicle, and the driver was slumped over in the seat. Sheriff deputies located the vehicle with a male inside as the reporting party had stated. The male in the vehicle was identified as Daniel Salazar. Deputies asked Salazar if he would consent to a vehicle search, and according to the report, Salazar allegedly answered yes. In the center console of the vehicle, deputies discovered a pink Ziploc bag with a white powder substance inside of it. On the driver floor mat, police discovered a white rock substance, which turned out to be methamphetamine. Police also ran the VIN number on the vehicle, and it returned back as stolen out of Las Vegas Metro Police Department, according to the report. Upon their search of Salazar, they also discovered a stolen credit card in another person's name, which is the registered owner of the vehicle. According to the declaration of arrest, Salazar used the stolen credit card to purchase gas for the stolen car. Sheriff deputies then placed Daniel Salazar under arrest and transported him to the Nye County Detention Center. Salazar was booked on a controlled substance of 14 grams but less than 28 grams, stolen vehicle, and stealing using another person's credit card.
In news from across the Silver State, the Democratic Party is opposing Governor Joe Lombardo's proposed legislation, which is designed to increase the security of our elections here in Nevada, one of them being a voter ID requirement. Rory Rossell reports.
Nevada Democrat leaders are facing controversy for opposing Governor Joe Lombardo's voter ID proposal despite its overwhelming popular support even from members of their own party. Attorney General Aaron Ford and Assembly Speaker Steve Yeager spoke in opposition to the voter ID at a press conference in Carson City yesterday.
We are here at the legislature to solve problems. This isn't a problem that exists in the state of Nevada. It's simply a solution in search of a problem. What we need is for elected officials in this state to stand up and speak the truth, and that is that our elections are safe and secure. As long as we're going to have elected officials who continue to propagate a falsehood that there's voter fraud, we're going to have pushes for legislation like this. There's no need for this legislation. We've had the last 4 Secretary of States, 2 have been Republicans, 2 have been Democrats, and they unanimously agree that we run great elections in this state that are both safe and both secure. So until there's evidence to the contrary of that, there's no reason to take up this issue. We have the best elections in the country, and that's not going to end anytime soon under the watch of Secretary of State Aguilar.
Listen, when the government wants to put a requirement in front of you exercising a particular right, if it's not constitutional, the question is simple. Is there a rational basis for doing it? But if it's a constitutional question, there has to be a compelling reason to do it. And it's not incumbent upon us as the citizens to prove whether it's compelling or not. It's incumbent upon the government to tell you why they are making you do something extra before you can exercise your constitutional right. And they must do it in a compelling way. Now, if they come forward and they want to say that voter fraud is a compelling reason, sure, that sounds like it makes sense, but then they have to prove it. And in courts across the nation, it has not been demonstrated that there is a sufficient amount of voter fraud that exists to justify the imposition of a new requirement to exercise your right to vote.
Now here's a safety warning for drivers because you'll be sharing even more of your lane and the roads this weekend because there's a bike race happening in Las Vegas. That also means some roads will be closed this Sunday.
An upcoming cycling event will lead to closures on parts of Red Rock Canyon and Blue Diamond Road for several hours this Sunday, according to transportation officials. The road closures and lane restrictions are planned for Sunday, May 7th to accommodate the Le Tape Las Vegas Tour by de France race, per the Nevada Department of Transportation. SR 159, which covers Charleston Boulevard and Red Rock Canyon, will be closed in both directions from Desert Hills Drive to Blue Diamond Road. This closure, which just covers over 15 miles, will last from 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. This means people will not be able to access the Red Rock Scenic Loop or any hiking trails during that time. Las Vegas police will escort any local traffic to and from homes during the closure. Westbound SR 160, also known as either Blue Diamond Road or Pahrump Valley Highway, will also be closed between Red Rock Canyon Drive and mile marker 27, near Sandy Valley Road, from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Nevada State Police will have a pilot car to maintain both directions of traffic using the eastbound direction, but drivers are still advised to expect major delays.
And if biking isn't quite your speed, see what I did there? We'll tell you about another major event returning to Las Vegas this weekend when we return here at News 25.
Everyone knows that landscaping in the desert can be a challenge. Land Art Landscaping is a licensed landscape contracting company that can design and install your own beautiful desert or even tropical oasis right here in Pahrump. Also, weeds can overcome your lot in no time. Land Art Landscaping can clean up the weeds and put you on a monthly service program to keep your yard maintained. Commercial and residential, call Land Art 727-8512. That's Land Art at 727-8512.
Hi, I'm attorney Jonathan Nelson of J.K. Nelson Law. We've been honored to be recognized by Best of Las Vegas and receive the Best Attorney in Pahrump for the past 4 years running. Awards are great, but helping clients get the money they deserve is why we're in business. After you've been injured in an auto accident, it's important not to listen to the insurance companies. Give us a call today, 775-727-9900. With offices in Pahrump, Southwest Vegas, and Summerlin, our team is here ready to fight for you for the money you're entitled to. So give us a call today.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyers, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back. It's almost that time of year for Eldorado Days, and the Eldorado Days Parade is returning to Las Vegas this weekend. Rory is telling us all about it.
The City of Las Vegas has announced plans to host its annual Eldorado Days Parade on May 13th. According to the website, Eldorado Days Parade, also known as the Las Vegas Days Parade or simply Eldorado, is held mid-May each year to celebrate the city's western roots. The parade includes floats, high school marching bands, cowboys and cowgirls on horseback, car clubs, nonprofits, and more. In the past years, an independent panel of judges decides on an award winners for each entry. The best entry, most creative, best theme, best float, best equestrian entry, best car club or motorized vehicle, best marching band, and best walking group. The 2023 parade will be held downtown Las Vegas on Saturday, May 13th, starting at 10 a.m. on 4th Street between Gass and Stewart Avenues. The parade was first held in 1935, according to LasVegasNevada.gov.
In today's health news, May is National Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month, and that disease unfortunately weakens bones, making them more susceptible to sudden and unexpected fractures. Cleveland Clinic doctors say that some people might not even know that they have osteoporosis.
Unfortunately, most people find out the hard way. They have a fall, they don't think that they'd ever broken anything before, and they say, well, the fall wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I didn't think I would get these fractures, and yet there they are with a fracture. By definition, that fragility fracture is you have osteoporosis.
The good news, however, is that osteoporosis can largely be prevented. Dr. Hashmi says the key is to start healthy habits early on, which include eating foods that have calcium to help support bone health, taking the right supplements like vitamin D, and of course, exercising. Dr. Hashmi says the latest research shows it can be beneficial to combine strength and aerobic training. However, be careful not to overdo it so you don't get hurt, and you don't necessarily have to go to the gym. There are other personal activities a person can do instead, like walking, climbing stairs, or riding a bike. You could even dance or do some gardening. It depends on what you enjoy.
For some people, it's actually even water type of exercises, so aquatic therapy or swimming, but that gives you more aerobic sort of exercise. The resistance does come though, and it actually comes from the counter pressure of the water. So if I was in a pool just walking around, that would actually give me both strength training and it would be giving me some aerobic exercise as well.
Medical experts also say for those who may be concerned that they're at risk for osteoporosis, you should consult your medical expert. Now, here is Mikey Ruhan knocking it out the park for us with his sports report.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports. Stanley Cup playoffs round 2. Game 1 last night, final score 6-4. Vegas pulled it out. Game 2 is coming up Saturday at 4 at T-Mobile Arena. The Las Vegas Aviators lost 7-2 last night in Sacramento against the Rivercats. They meet again tonight at 6:45. And the Monster Truck Insanity Tour. That's coming to Petrick Park this weekend. Stay tuned because we got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away right after the weather. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Let's take a live look outside through our Lerner and Rowe weather cam, and it is cloudy and cold and windy out there. We're barely in the mid to upper 60s. More of those details after this break.
Welcome to Nye County Armory, Pahrump, Nevada's premier hometown gun shop and NFA dealer. We have some of the lowest prices on guns in Nevada, and we have a full-time gunsmith on site. We carry name brand ammo and accessories. We build custom AR-15s, and we're a Master Glock stocking dealer. We offer the Blue Label program for first responders, and we have a Silencer Shop kiosk for all of your NFA needs, and only $25 dealer transfers. If you buy a gun someplace else, you paid too much.
Every day I felt worse. Life just weighed a ton. I didn't even want to get out of bed. Turns out, I had the strength to get myself back. Just needed to take that first step.
The Ponderosa Dairy in Armagosa Valley is currently seeking highly skilled CNG truck technicians. The right candidate or candidates must be able to troubleshoot, diagnose, and execute repairs on a 20-truck fleet of CNG semi-trucks. Another requirement that's needed for this special position, familiarity with the Cummins ISX 12-liter CNG-powered engines. The position pays up to $2,000 a week. Ponderosa Dairy is offering this great wage along with benefits and a 401k retirement package. If you have what it takes to do this very important job, call Ed now. 702-682-3339. That number again is 702-682-3339. Also send an email with your information to ap@ponderosadairy.com. Come join the family at Ponderosa Dairy.
When I grow up, I want
to be a doctor. I would help kids get better and make everything super fun.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a defect of the immune system that affects millions. Early testing can give children a chance to dream.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios and worldwide on the local BTV app. The app you should get on your phone because it makes you cool. All right, 61 degrees out in Fernley, Fallonsaw 63, 56 out in Carson City. That seems a bit tepid, but not the Cool Spot Award winner. Heck no, that's Tonopah, 52 degrees. Congratulations. 53 out in Goldfield keeps you out of the doghouse. 60 degrees in beautiful Beatty. It's 65 in Amargosa and Las Vegas. Hot Spot Award winners, congratulations all around. Out in Death Valley, 78 degrees on this May the 4th. Be with you. You think I'd get away from it without mentioning it? No, and actually, this is a picture of, it's a hot day out in Helmet in Death Valley if you're out filming today. They did film episodes 4 and 9 out in Death Valley, so that's the tie-in there. Anyway, here in the paradise of Pahrump, let's take a look. 60 degrees is our current temperature. 61 just a tad earlier. The wind's kind of there. I mean, 13 mile per hour out of the south. I noticed them. Okay, 5:47 a.m. this morning. It was a beautiful sunrise. We'll look for the sunset tonight under partly cloudy skies at 7:33 as we head to a low tonight at 45 degrees. Going to be very, very, very nice. As we head on into the rest of the week, it just gets better. Look at this. A couple days of clouds, but look at the temperatures rocketing up into the mid 70s and all the way to 80 by Monday and Tuesday. Looks like we do a little bounce around, but basically 80 degrees starting next week. And Sunday I can recommend as a very fine day. There will be clear skies, 76 degrees. Nice time to get out in the yard. Under reasonable wind, you know, have a barbecue, have some fun, all right? Back to the desk. Here's Unette.
Thanks so much, John. And you're a trooper, too. See what I did there? Just love that stormtrooper graphic. All right. Well, if you are in need of something else to do this weekend, we're giving away a family 4-pack to the Monster Truck Insanity Tour this weekend at Petrick Park. You can give us a call, the first caller to call us at 775-727-9400, and be sure to leave your phone number and an email. You'll get a family 4-pack to that Monster Truck Insanity Tour. Have fun. And speaking of May the 4th, we'd also like to congratulate Carrie Fisher, her daughter, and the rest of her family, because that late actress who played Princess Leia in the Star Wars series, she has now received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame posthumously. So congratulations and rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. We love you, Princess Leia. Well, that does it for this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry, and from all of us here at KPVM and Ace Country Radio, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next newscast or in another galaxy.
I choose VA because they made me whole again.
I choose the VA because the VA cares.
I choose the VA because they provide seamless care through all stages of life.
I choose VA because it helped me with my PTSD.
I choose the VA because they make me feel important.
I choose VA because they've saved